let's talk about supposedly ancestral problems and how it affects the their descendants here, their family in here. Although I find it very hard to believe there's another explanation for that. However, here they just give their cultural belief. Some people in the East, they believe that whenever you have problems in life, let's say always bad luck, finances, problems within the family, siblings that quarrels, health problems is their departed ancestors. However, I find it hard to believe, and later I'm gonna explain why that is not them. Simply because you you come out from this body, you disincarnate, you just move. Your conscience moves on. What is left behind is just the causal and this molecular body, the ethereal body that is created to stay here on earth. But that's not us. We cannot identify ourselves with that. You see? So cannot be your ancestor, cannot be your auntie, your uncle, your mom, your dad, your grandparents, your great grandparents. Cannot be them, because even if it were them, your sisters, your brother, because even if it were them, they wouldn't know what they were doing because they are confused. And now after we come out from this body, we become confused, we become incomplete. That is, we have no more conscience. You see, our conscience goes. Even the Hindus itself believes that our conscience after death moves on. What is left behind is the body that you use to exist, to live on this game we we act here, because all in action, all action. All here is a theater, which can be very painful, joyful, but also painful, very, very hard and painful. So there's no way that our mother, our father would cause uh, damage to the ancestors here. There's no way. That's not them, and they don't need that. They don't need anything, because when we passed on, what belongs to the dominator, to the controllers, will go back to them. And what is to the universe, what belongs to the universe, will return to the universe, which is our conscience. And what left behind is this la nona deck body, which is the causal, the mental, and the ethereal body, which they call ghosts. See, this ghost has no conscience. It's totally a moron. It cannot be taken seriously, although they can make damage. They are not complete. They do not know who they are. I'm tired of saying that when they die, if they come back, if my mom come back, my sister come back after 1 year, 2 years after they departed, it's not them. It's not them. Because they are not complete. You see? It was their avatar that they have used here to live up this game. It's not them at all. My goodness, what's so difficult to understand? So sometimes facing such problems in this past best effort, there's no response. Yeah, because of the configuration that controllers do to us, nothing to do for ancestral who passed away and blah blah blah. This is the controllers, the Dracos. So much so that the entire family has a dark cloud over it where all members are suffering. This suffering could include problems such as marital disharmony, addictions. Why must bring miscarriage to this? Miscarriage, feuds within family members, and financial problems. We are divided and try to overcome them, but we are kept at bay because the root of such problems lies in the spiritual dimension, of course, but not because of our ancestral. It's not them. Their consciousness has gone. That's why I always believe that you die, finito. You go back to the universe. What's left behind what left behind is the leftover of the avatar which you have used here outside the physical body, and inside the solar plexus your heart contains your soul. I'm not sure where these souls go, but the conscience, if the soul is the conscience, then it goes together with the conscience to the universe. It will be reunited with the everything that we are. Okay, so it's not left behind. What left behind is just, though I would say, one muppet. This ghost is a muppet, you see. So they cannot do much harm. They can try, but depend on the person. If you are not aware, a no-aware person, a moron, then you will end up doing nonsense in your life. You're going to destroy your life. That's why we need the ethics. We need moral codes and ethics, and a lot of patience to carry on this game, because it's not easy to be here. It's not easy to live. And neither it could be easy to die if you don't know how to, because you're gonna why because you're gonna identify yourself with what you are not, and the what is that you are not. You are not this causal, this mental, this etherical body, this spiritual body. You are not that. You are not that ghost. You see, you are not that ghost. What we are goes beyond that. All right, this is what I'm trying to tell people, because they don't know, especially so those people who live within a culture, live without the asking, without question, people who live within a religion framework. They do not know, and they will never know. Most of you is going to die, but you're not going to know anything. And then what's gonna happen? You're gonna identify yourself with which you are not. And what's that you are not? You are not that ghost. Okay? So if my sister, my mother passed away, my brother, etc., they could come to me, yes, within that space of time, maybe 12 months, 6 months, before they are gone complete, before they ascend. Once they ascend, then that's it, they are gone. No such thing that ghosts have lived in that big house that you mentioned for century in the Victorian time. There's no such thing. There is a spirit there, but that spirit is no good. And why it's no good? Because it comes from Lucifer. Suppose that it does not come from the all supreme God. No, it comes from Lucifer. The part which stays behind comes from Lucifer. You see, so if they want to stay behind, if they want to stay in their house once they die, if the part that made up that human, that person stays behind, their problem? If they want to stay in their house, okay, let them stay. It's not our problem. We have to deal with that. And that's why in many haunted houses we see that there's always a bad spirit with them. Wherever there is ghost, there is a devil together, because it's the master. It's the master. See, so they have to stay with that bunch of the group of souls who have lived in that property, and then they died eventually, and the party which was the ghost stays behind. There's also the master, which is the devil, who stays also together with them, ordering them around, tell them what to do. They stay between plans. They stay with a feet here or not, in a parallel world, and a 1 feet on the other side. And they can do, because they have the know-how. So there's no much mystery in that. Why people make it so difficult? It's not this is ancestor, so sorry. Some ancestral problems are levied to us dissidents, so that we take notice and help them in their path. We don't have to, man. What is Caesar belongs to Caesar. What's to the universe belongs to the universe. Just let it go. You don't have to do anything. Everybody is here to do your mission, to play your part, to play your script, and then move on. You see, you don't have to do anything. Once you do, what you do is that you are feeding that part which were not your mother, your father, your uncles, your grandparents. That was not their part, you see. It was just the Muppet used to animate, to give an identity to this physical body, and the soul which is within. And the soul is important in that, because it belongs to the universe, and the multiverse makes part of the all. So one of the reasons why no sense I have the same is a cry of hope. There's no sense, man, no sense about this. This is ancestor. What you do when you do that, you pray for them, you give them things. You are feeding a ghost, a semi-demon. As after that, they are in the form of a subtle body or spirits, and cannot do spiritual practice. There's no sense. And do we ever need that? Do they ever? Especially so they need that? I don't think so. Very simple and basic daily efforts can help alleviate our ancestral distress and give momentum. Nonsense. Ignorance, total ignorance. We can protect ourselves by telling them that I do not identify with them anymore. That avatar which was them, it is over, you know. That their conscience already went to the universe, and they have to come to terms with that, and move on, and forget about us here. And who knows, hopefully we can meet our conscience can meet. However, there's no such thing, because there's only one conscience. So the ultimate reality, there's no such thing as division. I'm not divided from my mother, who is not divided from my sister and brothers, and from anybody else in this cosmos. So we are all one, you see. So it's there where the games are over, the illusions are over, the Maya is over. You can protect yourself from problem caused by sister. My God, this one is basic things, just basic, just a kind of code of the Theo culture. Theo culture. It's nothing to do with the ultimate spiritual truth and the revelation. What ancestral problem? Like nonsense. You don't put in your mind that you have had bad luck. I never, even though I go through obstacles, I see it as a form for me to stand up, move on again, and be stronger than I am, Because at the end of the day, I know that I'm here just to play a game. So I do not care, really. I always look for a light beyond the tunnel, figuratively speaking. I do not care almost for nothing, you see. So that's the best way to live in this life. Because if you're gonna stress, you're gonna lose your mind. Once you lose your mind, then you're gonna make distraction for this matrix at most, at least. Why would my departed loved ones and my other ancestors want to give me pain? No, they do not give you pain. It's not them anymore. That was the avatar. They have lost their conscience, man. We find it unimaginable to believe that our close family members and relatives who have passed away would deliberately cause problems in our lives. I do not believe it will never happen. They have to be out of their minds, um, literally speaking. Learn the too many reasons. No sense. Who are all the included ancestors? They send the criteria of who are included in our ancestor. So according to the science of spirituality and unknown to modern science is 15% of difficulty. Nonsense. I don't know why people have this kind of mentality, really. I do not believe what a religion can do to people's mind. Turn them into a non-critic zombie. They don't have a critical mind because someone else is thinking for them. The collective conscience of the culture is thinking for them. They are not thinking as an individual. They are thinking as a group, a herd. So if the herd goes to the abyss, you will go with them if you're on the same circle as there. Just so to belong. Why people lose their identity so as to belong? It's very, I don't know, it's beyond my capacity to rationalize. Imagine believe the close family member relatives who have passed away would deliberately cause problems in our lives. They do not need help. Do not feed them. Because that one the identity only. So you see, this one only is the ghost, right? This one is not what we are. What we are is more than that. It's come from the light within. I never see my husband, my ex-husband family as mine. That's ridiculous, man. And when it fits these people, they will say, blood is thicker than water. Yet, they say that a woman who has no blood relative, no blood relations to her husband belongs to her husband's family, not me. I deny all that. not me. Not even my sons and daughters are totally mine, because they have a part of their fathers in their father ancestral, and a part of me in my ancestral. So I do not see themselves as totally mine. But however, my sisters, my brothers, my mother is mine. Me is a very, very close part of me. So I identify myself more with my mother, sisters, and brothers, and father, of course, than I do with my sons and daughters, because I am pragmatic and I like to be rational rather than be politically correct in certain cultures. This is beyond my understanding where logic is concerned, to think that I belong to my ex-husband, whatever husband. Oh my god, that's ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. Oh my goodness. Along with these subtle births of the path relative from people's previous births are also included in ancestors. Even if one's descendants' children die before one, they too are included in the category of ancestors described in this section. This is even though they are not technically ancestors. No, they are not, because they sons and daughter is a part of the man and the woman. Who is part of us is our brothers and sisters and mom and daddy. Not even their parents are. I don't see my grandmother and my grandparents as part of me, as my mom, my parents were, and my sisters and brothers. My family, my ancestors are my brothers and sisters, my mother and father, nobody else. As I am to my sons and daughters, but they are not to me. They are not very much to me. They are just half part of me, myself, who are all included ancestors. So what type of ancestor need help? There's no sense, man. Nobody needs help. They are okay. These are just avatar. That's why I say people need to understand. People need to look beyond the religions. Go scary, deeper, deeper, deeper into the rabbit hole, and to deep into the oceans of knowledge. When you think that you know already enough, look for more, dig for more, because there's more than you think. There is more than where it comes from. So up to each generation of our ancestors are most likely to affect us. I would say for you is our mother, father, and grandparents, right? More than 7. What? More than 7 generations, negligible influences. So up to 7 generations, see, no more, no much, because they already have their grandparents, their so they have no time to think about us. They are already very, very far. So from 4 to 7 generation, influence up to a certain extent. That's include our great grandfather, great mother. Why would they think about us, man? I mean, they doesn't mean much to me anymore. That's all. They went on already, move on. What matters to me are my mother and father. Previous 3 generation maximum influence, that is your parents, your grandparents, and your great parents. Influence of previous generation subtle bodies of ancestors in our lives. Spirit of Effect by generation of ancestors. The influence or impact of ancestors of the past 3 generations is maximum, example up to the generation of our great-grandparents. The ancestors of up to the last 7 generations have some sizable influence. Why would they still bother about us? I mean, don't these people believe about reincarnation? What the heck? Why the heck these people haven't yet to reincarnate? Hmm? It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't understand. I don't believe. The ancestors beyond the 70th generation do not affect us much. This is because the give and take account if the ancestor is fully completed or completed to a large extent in a given birth. Hence, in the next birth, the give and take with ancestors of this present birth will be negligible, if at all. If a sizable give and take account remains, then we are born in the same family once again. No, that's because it's nothing to do with karma, because we have pieces of them within us. You see, there's a piece of us in them, a piece of them on us. So whatever it was ascribed for them, were configured for them to go through here, will eventually pass on to the next generation, and so on and so forth. It's more or less like this how it works. The above pertains to how far we are affected by our lineage, the vertical family tree. If we look at it horizontally or laterally, the lateral, we are affected by our ancestors up to our second cousins. Close friends cannot affect or cause distress like ancestors does. They can try to help if they have a high spiritual level, but we should not accept it. This is because it will increase their attachment to worldly matters and make them earthbound. As a result, it could cause an impediment in their onward journey. We should instead pray that they concentrate on their onward spiritual journey. Don't have to pray, just tell them straight away that that thing that they have there is just their avatar, their identity that they use here to portray this this character which they came here to play, and ask them to, I don't know, just move on, or they can stay in their house if they want to. I don't see what they shouldn't stay here. Is their problem? I don't know. I wouldn't want any ghost to move away from their houses. I'm not like that. I think that they have a right, if they want to stay in their houses. So if we look at the horizontally or literally, so that's it. The closer they are to us, the more these ghosts will affect. So what type of ancestors need help? Yeah, it can be true. They are the part of the avatar. Yeah, if they still can identify themselves as the avatar, as my father, my mother, yes, they will. If they want to, they will help us. It's commonly believed by many people in culture that their departed ancestors look over them and help them in their lives. It's true, they can if they want to. The spiritual research conducted by corroborates the fact that ancestors can help us. The extent and quality of help depends on their attitude and their life on earth and their spiritual level. departed ancestors at a lower spiritual level can help less than those at a high spiritual level. The higher the spiritual level, the more the extent and quality of help possible. The more they are conscious, the more they will be up to help, able to help. In almost all cases, the help that ancestors want to provide to their descendants is at a worldly level. For example, an ancestor may help his descendant get a job by putting the idea in the interviewer's mind of selecting him, or they can protect us from any danger, or they can instruct us about the other side, and they can input information in our mind about the other side. Then we become more psychic and we become more attuned to the other side. That's how they help us, you see. But that is if they have the conscience of who they are and they do not associate themselves with the ghost. If that bad is the ghost, which helps to, that bad over there is just to helps a bit to animate the physical body and also to carry on baggage, attitudes, desires, etc. They may help a girl get the boyfriend. Nonsense lah. Why of all things that they could help, they will help with boyfriend, girlfriend, men, this kind of innocent sex. For what? I mean, there's so many things there to help about. Okay, help to win the lottery. That will be great. I will be very grateful, and I'll open up a soup house in a charity house in their name. I would do that, I promise. Open a charitable body to help the poor, the animals in the streets in their name. Not meant for what? Nonsense. In Ancestral, with the foreknowledge of a possible accident may try to delay the departure of the decedent from the house, thus trying to keep him away from the scene of the accident. If there is an accident, they may save you. They save you from many harm, like you can go out at night and nothing will happen to you because you may have family ghost that always watch over you, and it's not your angels, but they become your angels instead. Or also they can become your obsessors and your possession. They can possess you, you know. Some will, let's say, there is many cases where the father while in life they were a drunkard. They were addicted to alcohol, and they had son. They left behind son. The son didn't drink until then. However, after the father passed away, the son started the same behavior as the father. You see, start to drink heavily and become an alcoholic person. And that is the sin of the father passing on onto the son. That means the possession of that entity that were the father coming in and then continue his habit through the sons. Okay, this happened. I know, I have seen many cases like that. are in fact enhance the attachment of their descendants to worldly pleasures, and simultaneously get further attached themselves, and also they can induce the family member to beat up their wives and children. These are all can be the ghosts of relatives who were not so good in life, you see. So suddenly this men start to drink heavily or take drugs, smoke heavily, and beat up wives and the children. All this a sign of possession. It must be clear. Um, they must do an intensive spiritual cleansing. The only real help the departed ancestors can give their descendants is to make them aware of the necessity of spiritual practice. More than 50% of mankind is below the 30% spiritual level with minimal spiritual strength. Yes, it's true. It's very difficult for these ancestors to be of any help to their descendants. Yep, it's also very true. Sometimes higher level ghosts, devils, demons, negative energies, etc., like subtle sorcerers, the mago negros, mantrix, can also ensnare, our departed ancestors. If they were possessed before they died, they were possessed. So when they die, they still go on, carry on if their possessor with them. You see, they still move on with that negative energy attached to them, to their light bodies. Can also ensnare of low spiritual level and torment them. At this point, survival is the only thought in their mind. However, even if some ancestors may genuinely desire to help their descendants, the fate of the helpful ancestors is akin to being trapped in a glass cage. Fate of the helpful ancestors is akin to being trapped. They can see the plight of their descendants, but cannot reach out to them to alert them of danger or deliver timely help. This can be caused by one of two factors. The descendants do not receive or understand the signs sent by the ancestors or do not believe in them. The spiritual power of ancestors falls short of the help needed. Mean that they don't do that the part the deceased, he doesn't have enough spiritual power to pass on the message, and to make matters worse, the other side also their dissidents here also does not have the power to sense them, and just I know any sign that they give. The sign that they give at home, it might be in a dream. They come to you, and depend what they show, you will gonna figure out from the dreams to see what they need or they want to, which message they want to pass, carry on, or they may let something fall on the kitchen or on the house just so to grab your attention. For example, a departed father may want to warn his son about the risk and sign the business due through dreams, but the son either does not make the connection between the signs in the dreams and the deal, or if he does, he may not attribute enough significance to it, thus ignoring the message. Yep, it happens. It happens a lot. In another case, a departed mother may have to helplessly watch her beloved son falling prey to a lethal drug addiction. Yeah, orchestrated by subtle sorcerer. Yeah, with those demons. She understands the root cause of the addiction, though the son and the world is unaware about it. But as her spiritual power falls much shorter than that of the subtle sorcerer. Yeah, she's supposed to be a helpless spectre. Oh my goodness, so pity. Like, for example, I die, then I see my son suffering, or my daughter, and then if they are suffering through some addictions, vice addiction, go haywire, and then I on the other side I see, and then I suffer. I want to help them, but then the force that causes them to do that is much stronger than my ghost power to help my spiritual ghost power on the other side. See how it works? However, uh, if in my case, I will never give up. If I really want to help my son or my daughter in the other side, nobody will stop me. Really, even if they were to come after me, because I have heard that this demon is the black shadow, the mago negro, the black magos. They are very, very, very powerful. You cannot imagine the power of their beings. However, I don't know why I'm I was not scared really. I have met this one already, but he came in a white clothes. He was a sorcerer, but he was not wearing black. And his power makes you shiver. Once he touches you, your physical and your causal body, this body here will tremble. Oops. Well, yeah, that causal body there will tremble, shivers. They have a very powerful frequency up to each generation. That must also help us to correct. It's not speaking me to would help an aspect. Nothing. How is that an ancestor at low spiritual level has the strength to trouble but not to help? Divine help is unavailable to fulfill worldly desires. I see, yeah. In almost all cases, the meaning of help for the departed ancestors and dissidents is restricted to worldly help. Yep. When help is restricted only to worldly needs, ancestors are unable to access divine help to assist them in fulfilling their wishes. Yeah. As a result, they have to depend on their own spiritual strength, which is negligible. If the intention of the help is to assist the dissident spiritually, the ancestors have more access to divine intervention and assistance. If they come to help us, like my brother came to help me, and find out many things that I didn't know then, you see, then up to that level they do can help us. Above that one, like desires to win lottery or something else, to make business, to prosper financially, then become more shady. It will become more difficult to achieve all those goals through our loved ones. However, yeah, if you want to do that, attain all those things, then you have to go to the negros magos, magro negros. Okay, those are those sorcerers. They call the chameleon. No, the yeah, is a kind of group of reptilian which is very attuned to the magic, black magic stuff. See, they are sorcerers. They are the chameleon, something like that. Yeah, chameleon. It's the chameleon group, and they can help people, but they want something in return. Nothing is for free. So it's just like you are selling your soul, selling yourself to them. See, because nothing is for free. And if you do not do what they want, eventually they will come not just after you, but to your uh, dissidents, your family member as well, your children, your grandchildren, so on and so forth. So it's not advisable to go into those practice, so it's better be within your means, work honestly to attain your basic needs for your body and your family, rather than you go to an extent of delve into the black arts without knowing better where you are delve into. Due to the lower spiritual strength will be curtailed in the quality and quantity of help that they can give their descendants. The truth is that ancestors at a lower spiritual level are in most cases in survival mode and cannot think beyond themselves. Yeah, they are lost. They lost their identity. They are not complete. They are confused. They don't know who they are because they are not complete. Here, okay, I have a body, a physical body. I have still a soul. I can think better. I have much more. I have much more, say, possibilities to think better, to rationalize. But once we are in the ghost form, material light body, then it becomes more complex. Some people say that it will be easier. Nope, it will be worse. It's just like a nightmare, and you become totally at the mercy of the dark beings. Yep, it's like this. So the best thing is for you to just let it go. I mean, let it go literally of your causal mental light body. Let it go. Don't want to associate with it. The oppressive environments in the lower regions, there is neither region or purgatory and hell, but along the attacks by high level ghosts give them a substantial amount of pain. Yeah, they are in lot of traumas. And especially if they see us here help or happy, living a good life, and they over they suffer that character of our family, they suffer. I mean, the character, the ghost, they will not be happy because they are there suffering and we are not seeing. So instead of helping their dissidents, they actually need of help themselves. But eventually, the way to help them is to instruct them to not care about that thing, because this is not quite real. That bad doesn't belong to us. that is not what we are. That's the only way to save those that poor light body. They try to communicate to their dissidents and do so in the form of creating problems in their dissidents' lives. That one is a cry for help, for attention. But the only way to do that is to tell them that they are free and not to associate with that body, because this is what the devils want us to associate ourselves with that body and this physical body when we are neither of those. The extent of the problems they can cause is disproportionately larger than the ability to help. Yeah. Influence of higher level ghosts. When it comes to causing distress to people not higher level ghosts, these devils use ancestors as a means to get to humanity with expending the least amount of energy. Hence, they provide departed ancestors with the required black energy, and they try to suck from us because we got that plasma. You see, in order for them to manifest themselves, they will need plasma. Plasma is also the parana, the energy that we have still have in this body, and they thrive on that. Goes the light body, the these all those beings, entities, they do live off our energy. They are like vampires themselves. And some of the ghosts over there in the hell, in the Patal world of hell, those are not human ghosts. Those are alien ghosts. Okay? Aliens also die. And once they die, they may also end up there. And they are not human. They were not human energies. And as for some ghosts, not all, they are devoid of energy. Just think of ourselves when we are feeling like hypoglycemia. That one, I believe, is attack, spiritual attack. We feel like most of the time, and even diabetes, sometimes we feel that we have no more strength. We are all cold. Then we feel that what they call that our body, like the blood circulation vibrates, something like that, and that kind of a tingling sensation in the skin. That one is a psychic attack. It's a psychic attack by invisible forces, and then you need to take care and do some kind of affirmation to send them away, because they are there to take some of your energies. And even maybe, who knows, ghost. Like, I saw my sister after she died, and she was very thin. She was very weak. She couldn't walk. Very, very weak. And I had to carry her to go down that flight of stairs on the beach. And when I carried her, she didn't have any more energy. And I give her some of my energy. And once I touched her, I found out that she was by now a skeleton. She had no more flesh. And I was holding her skeleton down those stairs, but she still lived, you see. But I loved her. I know I loved her. I knew that she was dead. I knew all the while, but I still carry on because I knew that that being was my sister, and I loved her, and I carried her with love, and I left her there below the stair, and then I come inside my body again, and I gave her some of my energy, and it resulted in my waking up tired and wasted it out. I felt very wasted, and eventually I felt very weak, but I knew it was psychic attack or spiritual attack, but I knew also that it's because I helped my sister, and I was happy for it. I was happy. And I did some prayer, I did some things, not prayer, not religion prayer, the things then I did with the cosmology, with my own God self, and then I healed myself again, and then I received the parana back in double, at the point that I can stay 2 days, 3 days without eating, but I still have this parana full of energy. So causing distress is a method of communication with the dissidents. When we are living on earth, we have a variety of issues in our lives that vie for our attention. Our energy ends up being distributed across various facets such as job, relationships, chores, of course, and entertainments, etc. However, when we die, there are no such activities to vie for our attention. They can be very tedious. Is it very boring, tedious? In the subtle regions, and I cannot stay without doing nothing. In the subtle regions, our departed ancestors experienced the full measure of happiness and unhappiness in accordance with their merits and demerits. People don't have merits and demerits. Only this is body, light body that created by Lucifer has. The rest doesn't have. We don't need to have any demerits, because all this is a game and we are here to experience good or bad. It doesn't matter. Ancestors of a lower spiritual level generally accrue more demerits, and as a result experience more pain with no other distractions as we have on the earth plane. They become singularly focused on reducing this pain or experiencing some worldly desire. Oh yeah, I dream of my mother and sister who passed away. I dream of them, I think 2 days, 3 days ago, and they were happy. They were in one house together, and they were happy. And I was there with them. But like always, I'm always alone and nobody cares for me. I'm totally alienated. And it's like I do not exist and they do not recognize me. They do not acknowledge me. Sad but true, but it's okay. I'm just happy to see that they are happy. They reach out to their descendants or not to do something for them. As there is no physical body, they do not need to sleep and can walk at reaching out to their descendants with an incredible amount of single-mindedness. This single-minded focus in turn enhances the ability to affect us. But the devil sleeps, don't be fooled. because there is a black man, old already in Brazil, who went down to this Patal world, this hell world, and he was very poor, this old man, and he one night while asleep, he went down to the abyss. They pulled him down, and then he saw that he was in hell, and once he stepped in there, he saw the black devil. He says very black, he's a reptilian, very ugly, but of course this man doesn't know about any mythology. He nothing of the sort, because he's a village man, a humble poor old man. And then he said that once the devil saw him, he said to another one devil, "Oh, look at who you have here, Raimundinho," because his name is Raimundinho. "Look at who you have here, Raimundinho." And then this old man, he, as soon as he knew that he was in hell, he started to pray for the Virgin Mary. And when he first stepped down there, that area, the devil was asleep in what looked like a cabinet, something like there's a desk. He was asleep over there, and then he described him, and be very tall, black, and he have a tail, and his tail have a razor, a blade within it, and he had horns, and he had a blade on his tail. And he started to pray for the Virgin Mary to come and help him. And then the devil told him, "Shut up!" and shouted to him, "Don't say the name of this woman in here." And then he started to be continuing call the Virgin Mary. And suddenly he was back in his body again. And then he stopped drinking from that day on, and his wife helped him. They started to pray more and more and more to the Virgin Mary, although he said that the devil will always come back to pull him. He sleeps in a hammock, and the devil will always come and push his hammock and try to bring him back again, because many people have died in their sleeps, see, or as a result of that condition, that is um, necropathy, something like that, and catalepsy, that syndrome where it looks like that you die but you haven't died, and then your body is pulled down, and once your soul come back, and your light body is back to your physical, it comes down like it's come in like some kind of hurricane, boom, and then there's that bang in your physical, and then you wake up startled. And I know, because it happened to me. I know how it feels, and many people died in their sleep as a result of that. You see, I don't know who does that and how it happened. So yeah, the devil sleeps in. I don't know about the light body, whether the ghosts, I don't know, but the devil sleeps. How is that an ancestor at the lowest spiritual level has the strength to travel to ancestor worship and ancestor veneration? Now let's see, some people like to worship ancestor in the East, and then the Asiatic people of the Americas. Okay, introduction to ancestor veneration. Even though Asiatic tribe of the Americas also do worship their the ancestor. Ancestor veneration or ancestor worship is practiced in some form or another throughout the world. The types of customs and rituals are varied. In some cultures, ancestors are worshipped as deities. In this two-part series on ancestor veneration and ancestor worship, we provide spiritual perspectives for various beliefs and customs. From simple respect and veneration to ancestor worship, so that people can make informed decisions about how they should treat their departed ancestors, both from their own perspective and that of the departed ancestors. The first ritual for departed ancestors is the funeral rite, and we have given a spiritual perspective to some of the more popular funeral rites in our article cremation. Okay. Some popular beliefs in the ancestor veneration, ancestors worship, protection. Yeah, they do this because they're scared, they fear, and they want protection in one worldly things. Departed ancestors are believed to wield great authority, having special powers to influence the course of events or to control the well-being of their living relatives. They provide protection to the family. Keeping it together is one of the departed ancestors' main concerns. The living may regard the departed ancestors as guardian angels, protecting them from serious accidents or guiding their path in life. It's common. I think that many people think that is a very natural thing to have this kind of belief, because maybe there is a reason for that. However, what they should know is that sometimes this ancestor can be much more than humans. I believe that ancestors here means something else, more sinister and profound. It's not just about a body that is human. No, ancestors here can be a soul of certain lineage, I would say, of some galaxies, and it has anything to do with just our family, earthly family in here. So sometimes departed ancestors are considered intermediaries between God and or the deities and the family they have left behind. It's believed that they intercede with God, saints, and deities for the benefit of the family. Yep, I believe that it can happen. The party of the family that went on, yeah, I believe that it can happen. Fear and reverence. In some cultures, the attitude of dissidents towards departed ancestors is one of mixed fear and reverence. Yep, it's fear, because they're scared, totally scared of the punishment that those ancestors can cause in the dissidents that is to come, the great children, and all the coming generations. So they have um, to to calm down the ego of this ancestral, of this, the light body of these ancestors, or could be other ancestors that is not humans. It can happen because, as I said, human here is just the body. However, the soul is something different. You see? So I'm not talking about just the human ancestral, but the soul, which is very, very, very old ancestral from other galaxies. It's believed that if neglected and not venerated or worshipped after their death, the departed ancestors may cause disease and other misfortunes. Yep. This was they do in the tribes in South America, I don't know, North America. They do that. Communication from the afterlife. Departed ancestors have the ability to communicate with the living through dreams and by possessing their descendants. That's so true. I believe that 100% because it happened to me, and I have seen cases like that. Helping life's decisions. The dissidents sometimes turn to the ancestors for guidance through sciences and mediums or Ouija boards to help them in making important decisions. Don't use Ouija board or medium whatever, because you can with demos. Once you open portal, with the demos come negative spirits, so you never know who is there. It can be something camouflage disguising themselves as the memory of your ancestral. The part of the ancestors' ability to protect and look out for their descendants. The ability of us, yeah, I know because it happened to me. My brothers always protected me. The ability of a subtle body in the subtle regions of the universe to protect someone on the earthly region is directly related to the subtle body's spiritual strength or spiritual capacity. The following table provides an overview of the proportion of people going to the various subtle regions after death. Region type: proportion of people going to the subtle regions after death during peacetime. I have a feeling like this. No, I find out, but that yeah, my mother was watching over me, and she said that it was very hard. It has been very hard for me to go on without her. Since I lose her, my life has changed completely, and that's true. And my life has been hellish. However, she said that I was for her like an angel on earth, and it was a blessing to have a daughter like me. And she was very happy to have had me as a daughter. And by saying that is already too good for me, too comforting. She and my sister. High positive regions of the universe. Spiritual growth. Someone come inside the door. The door is open. It's already 5 o'clock morning. Still dark. So high positive region of the universe. Less than 0. Proportion of people going to the subtle regions after death during peacetime. Relative spiritual strength. More 100 to infinity. Spiritual growth. Heaven, less than 1%. We'll go there, and more 5. Enjoy the fruit of their merits. The nether region, 85% will go there. Price 1, survival. Here also survive in this earth. So what is changed? Nothing. Here also is only keep the head, um, our head above water, not to drown. First and second region of the hell. 10% will go there. -10 to -20. So here is the percentage of spiritual strength. Here 85%. Oh, here in the nether region, the astro is about the center of the earth. Price 1, the level of spiritual strength. Survival for 10%. Troubling others. I think that these entities, they need a lot of comfort, a lot of help. The negative figures for spiritual strength show the spiritual energy that is demonic. Spiritual energy, it is also commonly known as black energy. On average, and they are no more human, those are not humans. On average, a departed ancestor will take about 1 to 3 generations to lose attachment to his previous life or not. What? On average, a departed ancestor will take about 1 to 3 generations to lose attachment to his previous life on earth. One generation can be taken as roughly 30 years. What? That's mighty blowing. In other words, people are most affected by the generations that pertain to their parents to great grandparents. But then my great grandparents went out already because my grandchildren is already their, let me see, is third generation, no, post, yeah, third generation. So my sisters and I have grandchildren, so it's already third generation for my grandparents, and it is for my parents is first, second, third, because some of my sisters, no, how many? Yeah, because my mother's grandchildren has already children. So is my mother who's third generation. My mother and my father. So it means what? That they are free. They are free at last. But not my sister. My sister is still around. And my brother didn't marry. Went very young. So I don't know. But I guess that he moved on. He reincarnated maybe as my son. One aspect that decides this time period is the suffering that one has to undergo in the subtle regions due to incorrect actions and deeds when on the earth plane. It doesn't have to be like that, because that body is just a nectar, muppet. When undergoing these sufferings, departed ancestors are aware of which part of the earthly existing sea is responsible for the suffering. In that time, the attachments to the previous worldly life was exists and is bound to influence the lives of their descendants. So let's repeat this. Um, One aspect of this time period is the suffering that one has to undergo in the subtle regions into the correct. Okay. When undergoing these sufferings, departed ancestors are aware of which party of the earthly existence is responsible for the suffering. And I know which one is of my parents. In that time, their attachment to their previous worldly life also exists and is bound to influence the lives of their descendants. The subtle bodies that can effect real change on the earth plane for their descendants are subtle bodies that are spiritually evolved and reside in the higher regions of the universe, such as Mahalok, Janalok. These subtle bodies are above the 60% Samashti or 70% Vyashti. And another thing, we don't need to come out from here already knowing, to reach this level. But it will be better yet for us. It will be better for us to ascend. However, even though you leave your body right now without the knowing, you still have a chance to attain some knowledge in the other side. However, it will take time. I'm gonna tell you, gonna take a long time for you to achieve some higher levels of knowledge there. If you don't already starting here, but there's still hope that you, even though you die ignorant, you are still bound to learn something in there, but it will take many years, and they will not give you they're not gonna give you many chances. They will not stand straight away give you chances. You gotta you're gonna got to wait. So if you have murdered here, harming people, do all kind of evil thing to others, malicious intent to harm other people, animals, the earth, then you gonna wait for 100 years to be given a chance, a Cindy, and a learning in those other regions, and then be finally reincarnated again to suffer. Unless you know very well, then maybe you can escape this how to say this system, this grind, this reincarnation greed. You can escape. Hopefully you can move on and merge with the universe. In practice, people do not receive material help from these high level beings. This is for two reasons. Firstly, less than 0.1% of our departed ancestors go to these higher regions of the universe, because one's spiritual level needs to be above 60% or 70%. And there's another thing, they still have this kind of what they call discrimination, the system of discrimination, whereby they choose who they want to accede or not, to graduate or not. If they do not like you, then you are not gonna accede, even though You have been an angel here helping everybody and having this higher percentage or more of knowledge. They will not make it easy for you. You have to try and gain your own sovereignty and your own rights to escape and face the music with strength and courage over there, because it is a wide place over there. It's not easy. Even if our departed ancestor wants to be of a high spiritual level, material help would not be something that he would indulge in. As a person evolves, their only focus is to grow spiritually. Yep. So all the help to others is also given from the perspective of helping them grow spiritually. Spiritually here doesn't mean that you have to be so passive, so saintly, so I mean saintly here in a way that you go to church, you go to temples, you go to mosques, and then you worship something or someone. No, here is about knowledge of Idai, knowledge of the other words, and knowledge of earth. Alright? Physical and ethereal knowledge has nothing to do with the worship, having a religion system, following that. No. Knowledge is much more than that. It's going deeper. Because religion takes you where it wants you to go, wherever. Knowledge of how do you say, metaphysical, not spiritual, but metaphysical knowledge takes you where your conscience says that you want to go. Moreover, they began to lose their attachment to family members. This is because they get more expansive in their perspective, which is to help all of humanity grow spiritually. So they will detach, and also maybe they are there, as I said before, once they themselves, this kind of study here said that over there they are merrymaking, happy, and they don't care at them about who is below. See who is below them, because they are heavy role. Just like in here, nobody cares if somebody is suffering, if your next door neighbors doesn't have food, doesn't have clothes to wear, nobody cares. See, so the same thing is in these heavens. The higher up you go, the more selfish you become. Just like in here, nothing changes, because it's all metrics. Heaven is matrix, hell is a matrix as well. So where does it change? Subtle bodies in lower and higher heaven are fully evolved spiritually. However, while in the subtle region of heaven, they are mostly evolved and enjoying and experiencing the fruits of the merits gained. What about enjoy? What is enjoy when you see that your fellow being is below, suffering? I cannot be happy if other people is not happy. I'm only happy when I help and I see that the people is happy around me. When they were on that region, there's no things. This is why they rarely help their descendants on the earth region. So what they want to say, what? That the more you become richer, just like in here that I described it previously, that the more rich you become, then you do not care for your poor relatives. Is that so? And then one more time I say, I don't want to go to this place. This place look crap to me. Crappy. And another thing that I want to highlight is that in hell itself, they work there. They also work, they do working. And there are many branches where people also learn some skill, not say people, but those ghosts body that's gonna be eventually integrated again to be reincarnated. So it's not just what religion say about suffering. They are working done over there as well, but they do not describe it. However, to put fear onto people's mind, they will paint that place as a internal hell. Perhaps that's so for those newcomers. Until you continue there, things will change. Will continue being a hell because hell will be hell. However, there is many level of it, and some people do work over there. See, do some work like um any kind of a job, like sewing something, do something. If the broken material part, there are regions of laboratory over there, sciences, technology. Yep, nobody knows that, huh? But now I'm telling you that that's so. And if heaven is like that, you know, who needs to be in hell? No, who needs to say that hell is bad? Because the people on top is so arrogant, just like here in earth, where nobody's care for nobody. So what difference it makes between heaven and hell? And I guess that all the rich and arrogant show off people, selfish, will go to heaven then. And over there is broad there as well. For those who don't know, over there is broad there once. There is broad there in some levels of the inferior worlds or the nether worlds. There are brothers. Money is a word matter. Less than 1% of the departments go to the subtle region of heaven. So they are most involved in joy and experience the fruit of the merit gained when they were on the. I will never forget my relatives that's below. This is why they rarely help their dissidents. Okay, but do not help dissident on earth, but help those who are in hell, morons. Moreover, they have less spiritual strength, and if they do help their dissidents, it is in the more easily manageable worldly matters. Less than 1% of all departed ancestors go to the subtle region of heaven. Most of our ancestors go to the subtle regions of nether region and the first and second regions of hell. Here the environment is quite oppressive due to a lack of spiritual practice and various attachments, unfulfilled desires, subtle bodies of departed ancestors in these regions mainly experience unhappiness. Most of the time, these departed ancestors want to trouble their descendants. Yeah, because they're not happy. The following are the two main reasons as to why ancestors trouble their descendants: due to unfulfilled desires, due to inability to move on in the afterlife and attain a higher positive region or sub-region. So you see, you're gonna upgrade, depend, just like here in prison. If you behave properly, eventually you're gonna get married, and then your sentence will decrease. Why would my departed loved ones and my other ancestors want to give me pain? Ancestors go to the lower region of hell. Generally only travel that this did never help. In almost all cases, ancestors have very little ability to influence events on sustained basis in another plane of existence, such as the Earth region. Sometimes the strength to accomplish the wishes of departed ancestors is given by higher level ghosts. The higher levels of ghosts provide energy so as to create give and take account with these subtle bodies that they help and thereby get them under their control. And those ghosts, either they live there for centuries and they become demons, or they are ghosts, alien entities that have passed on and then gone there to hell. Okay, or can be the demons itself, or the devils. Maybe the devils and demons are what they call archons, or made by androids, so they are not organic at all. So can the party, the ancestors, intercede for us with God or deities? No, because many people already have their fate already marked in the what they call the configuration once they come here. So these archons won't change their mind about us in here. Unless you move, you change your birth certificate, you change your birthday, you change your name completely, then you're gonna alter your destiny. This is rarely the case. In some cases, a subtle body in the region of heaven or the nether region can intercede on behalf of their descendants with lower level deities in the region of heaven. This happens by exchanging some merits they have earned to get something or not. However, lower level deities also have a limited amount of power and can only help out in smaller things. In most cases, lower level deities expect something in return for the favors they give out. Very fishy, huh? If someone has done a lot of spiritual practice, then he can also ask for boons, bonus from higher level deities. However, in this, the spiritual energy gained by their spiritual practice is used up. If neglected or not worshipped, can ancestor cause us problems? From a spiritual perspective, neglected means not doing the requisite rituals or spiritual practice to help ancestors in the afterlife. If the correct rituals are not done, departed ancestors can trouble their descendants. Yep. In the next article, we will examine some of the popular rituals and customs worldwide and their efficacy in providing protection from problems caused by departed ancestor. Yes, it's possible. They do this through a number of ways. Communication by creating problems in the descendant's life. Departed ancestors most of the time communicate by causing problems in their descendants' life. Departed ancestors use spiritual energy to create distress in their descendants' lives so that the descendants take no risk of their needs. The distress perpetrated by the ancestors is thus basically a means to communicate their pain. When the descendants find their problems are not going away, despite their best efforts, they sometimes seek spiritual guidance. Eczema? Who cares for eczema? Terrible is another kind of disease like diabetes, hypoglycemia, cancer, heart disease, um, diverticulitis, and all this kind of thing. Sometimes dissidents or not, or the part of the ancestors in the afterlife, try to communicate through mediums or Ouija boards. In most cases, it's not the ancestor who's communicating. Yep, it's not them. Accordingly, it's best not to ask ancestors for advice about one's life decision through these mediums because, in all probability, one would be speaking to another low level in Tai Chi or negative energy. And while initially the advice may be okay, it can be interspersed with the wrong advice to lead people astray or in a harm's way. Yeah, it's true. Dreams. Sometimes ancestors communicate through dreams. Yeah. The part of the ancestors live in a world that is more subtle than the very tangible earthly region that we live in. When we dream, we go to a more subtle plane, and hence it is easier for the part of the ancestor to contact us. Yeah. Most dreams are psychological in nature. However, there are instances when dreams are spiritual in nature. That one is what we call what they call, I forget. Vivid dream and vivid, very very real, out of the bad experiences. Oh, astral projection. As a rule of thumb, a dream can be considered spiritual in nature if a dream recurs or occurs 3 times in a row. If what appeared in the dream occurs in the waking state, it is to be understood that this too is spiritual in nature. Some dreams are typical of ancestors trying to communicate. For example, continuously seeing ancestors in your dreams or seeing snakes. Seeing cobra snakes are generally indicative of ancestors that mean well. Not when they bite you, the snake is black and then bites you. That means that it has many significance. It can be that someone is backstabbing you behind your back, or maybe something to do with traitors, and you need to watch out for people around you, or it can be a kind of sexual how to call subconscious sexual restriction, indicative of ancestors that means well, whereas any other variety of snakes considered to represent ancestors that mean harm. It's not just ancestors, not our relative, can be something else. It's the sorcerers, the mago negros. Mechanism of the action for communication. All actions have to be done using one of the absolute cosmic principles. Depending on the spiritual strength of the ancestor, they are able to access higher and higher absolute cosmic principles to establish communication. As generally a bad odor in the environment I'm gonna read one more time to understand. Mechanism of the action for communication. All actions have to be done using one of the absolute cosmic principles. Depending on the spiritual strength of the ancestor, they are able to access higher and higher absolute cosmic principles to establish communication. Earth, generally a bad odor in the environment without any physical cause for it. For example, urine smell in the house. It could also be a perfume associated with the departed ancestor. Sometimes smell of sheep, pure excrement. Water, pruthvi apa, leaving some kind of a taste in the mouth. Fire, tej, taking the form of the ancestor in the dream state, ability to see the departed ancestor, a vision of the departed ancestor. This one is my case. Sometimes bad odor, but bad odor is not an ancestor, it's something else very bad around you. S, vayu, feeling as if someone is touching one without anyone being there, moving things around the house. And finally, ether, akash, hearing voice sounds. So through ether, they manifest through hearing voices sound. Through air, they feel someone is touch one without anyone being there, moving things around the house. Yeah, I felt people touch, massaging my hair. Fire, taking the form of the ancestor in the dream state, but you see that the part ancestor. Water, leaving some kind of taste in the air, generally a bad odor. In almost all cases, an ancestor tries to communicate with his descendants. It's most likely that the ancestor has unfulfilled desires, and the descendants should do their best to help the departed ancestor to move on. Vitrupaksha. So that's all.